So we have a machinery of Israeli cultural production and social production, which is amazing. There isn't a week in which an Israeli writer, a filmmaker, a poet, maybe all those together, are speaking somewhere in this country, and for that matter, in any country in the West. I don't remember the exact sum that they actually put into this, because it spreads through so many ministries and budget headings that last time we were trying to add it, we had such a headache that we gave up. One shouldn't, of course, but there's a limit to what you want to spend your time on. And but we do know that hundreds of millions of dollars every year are spent on shipping cultural products and cultural producers to every part of the globe in order to support the occupation and its messages. I am not against artistic production, and some of the Israeli artistic production is indeed quite radical. That's not the point. The point is simply, if Israel or South Africa, it doesn't matter, an occupation and repressive regime is thinking that this group should be financed to come to Britain or to the United States, that's for me enough evidence that I should not support it, I should not visit it, I should not give money to people who support the occupation. And I'm not ever arguing against individuals, because they're all my friends, and I worked in Israel for a good part of my life. And I came back to Britain in 2001 because I would no longer take part in what is happening there. Like Johnny said, a lot of us do that, and a lot of my friends, not enough, have left after I did, and some of them want to leave and find it really difficult and would like to. We are not leaving because we want to stop the struggle. We're not leaving because we want to be out of the conflict. We leave because as long as we're there, we are considered to be part of that machine of apartheid and oppression, and we don't want to be seen, understood, or conceived as part of it. There are many Israeli science achievements. Israel is getting more support from abroad in science research than any other country per capita. Most of this support comes from, you would be pleased to know, from European funds, which you are of course financing from your taxes, as I do, and from the United States, of course, but also from countries like Canada and so on. There is an enormous amount of money that goes into Israeli science research. Israel has applied and is likely to get a special dispensation from the EU. Though it is not part of the EU, it has argued for years, and the EU supported this at its highest levels, that Israel should get a most favored nation position in terms of science research. And that would mean that they will be able to be party to and also initiate applications for research funding at the highest level of the EU echelons. I think we should fight this tooth and nail. Not because I don't want to support science research. I suggested this, and my union at the time, NATFI, which is now UKU, the academic union, supported it, and so did the other academic union at the time. And we suggested it in the case of South Africa because we needed to break the South African apartheid state, and the only way to do it was to say to people elsewhere, academics, artists, sportsmen, don't actually support this nasty state. And that's what we're saying to you about Israel. There is an Israeli investment in many governments and many markets, of course in the high-tech area. So this is especially important in the high-tech area. There are Israeli lobbies, as you well know, in this country, and of course in the United States, very powerful Israeli lobby, which is the only lobby that every American president is kept away from sleep at night. I don't think they're worried, for example, about the Italian lobby. Just imagine, there are more Italian Americans than Jewish Americans. Have you ever heard that the Italian Americans got together and worked so that the American government would always support Italy in whatever it does? Why not? Yeah? This is what the Israeli AIPAC is doing and has been doing, and has been attacking a lot of people, some in this room. Some, a friend of mine in the back was attacked by their henchmen in a very nasty way. I was attacked by them, and they target intellectuals in different countries, especially Jews and Israelis who work with Palestine, and they make it their business to blacken our name. Fortunately, they don't succeed, but that is one of their jobs. So, what is our task when we try to understand what is happening now and the role of culture in this debate and conflict? There are two competing narratives. The Zionist narrative has won for many years, and the Palestinian narrative wasn't even there. You can think about Exodus, you can think about, those iconic productions, Holocaust, Shoah, think about any number of films that deal with the area, and then think again, what are those who are actually presenting the Palestinian position? Well, you cannot come up with them. And think about the abuse of the Holocaust. My family was destroyed in the Holocaust. I've actually written quite a lot about the Holocaust. Am I or other Jews supposed to agree that our dead families are used by Israel as a reason to kill Palestinian babies? What are you talking about, One thing that comes out of the Holocaust is we'll never allow this to happen again to Jews or to others. It's not about Jewish, it's not about Israeli identity, it is about human identity. So, the abuse of the Holocaust, which Norman Finkelstein has done so much to outline, which Chomsky, which other people have done so much to outline, basically they are suffering for it as Jews and as intellectuals, because AIPAC and the Jewish Chronicle and such other nasty publications are actually targeting activists and making their life a misery. Norman Finkelstein was removed from his professorship in Columbia College because of this. Now, what is the Israeli culture in need of doing? Well, first of all, it needs to hide the fact that about 600 towns and villages were destroyed since 1948. How do they do it? In a whole number of ways. First of all, the removal was done, and now we need to remove the names and the evidence from the books, from the maps, from the environment itself. You will be pleased to know, I think, that west of Jerusalem there is a park called Britannia Park. It was paid for by the good people of the Jewish community in Britain, and it covers exactly 6 villages that were destroyed and erased. And actually, the only way to know that they existed is to take a helicopter flight, but don't rush, because you won't get permission to do so anymore, because I realize now, but it was possible until a few years ago. And from the air, you see the 6 villages. You see the lines, the streets, and so on. But as you walk in the forest, which of course typically is of European trees rather than Middle Eastern trees, these are fir trees that don't grow naturally in Palestine. So not only has the human environment been erased, actually the natural environment of Palestine has been erased.